Oh, there's definitely a leak in this somewhere. No more leaks. Okay, so here's the scoop. I picked up a vehicle from Virginia, and it was an OM642 diesel. It needed intake gaskets and oil cooler gaskets done. Most of all, why he sent it up to me is because I have a deletion process for these intakes. I take them, I delete them, I reinstall the linkage on here and make it function so the computer thinks that these swirl flaps are here and they never plug up. So you're never going in limp mode ever again. It looks pretty damn simple, but it's not. Took me about 6 years to figure out how to do it to where they would consistently work all the time. In the first one, oh, I fucked it up good. By the way, with the way that I do these, it will still pass emissions testing, but just because you think you know how I do it, you don't have a clue. So if you want to help out my channel and allow me to make more free videos for people, you and I both get something out of it, send them to me. Look down in the description below how to get a hold of me. The guy told me that it had a really bad oil leak in the front of it, and he didn't know why. He had replaced the oil pump on it, and I had disassembled the engine thinking that once I disassembled it, I was going to be able to find the oil leak rather easily. Well, I'm blind as shit, if you can't tell. So I don't see things so well. I usually do much better by feeling things, and that's how I often work on vehicles. So I decided that this would be a good time for me to introduce a tool that would allow you to pressurize an engine even when it's disassembled. However, I felt it was pretty important to show you some of the steps that I went through to figure this out. I never actually thought of doing this before today, and the guy said, pressurize it. And I was like, That's why complacency is the killer of mankind, because I'm so complacent that they didn't have a tool for this. But then I thought, the hell, you make everything else that you need, so why don't you make this? It's like the Clayway band says, inspirations and metal fabrications. I'm here to inspire and empower folks just like you to do things yourself. So I thought you folks might not know this. I don't know if you do or you don't. But I need to make a 9/16 18th hole in this so I can put a fitting in the top of this. To do this, the only thing that you really need to know is the size of the fitting that you're going to make, so you know what tap to use. And what you do is you look on Google and you find tap drill sizes. And then we go down to 9/16 18 right here, which is a 33/64, which I already know I don't have. But because this is plastic, I'm just going to use a 31/64. If it was metal, I would definitely want to use the 33/64 because you're not going to be able to move metal the same way as you move plastic. The only real question you need to ask yourself is, do you have a 31/64 drill bit? Okay, so I have a step drill bit in my drill press here, and I know that this right here is a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to bring it to this one right here, and then I'll be close enough to drill through it with the 31/64. Now this might seem a little bit sketchy to you, but you cannot break what's already broken. Keep that in mind. It actually worked out just fine. Even with that smaller one went in there, that tap went in there right away. So if you don't know me, my name's Clay. I'm from Western Michigan, Grand Rapids, Muskegon area, and I get sprinters sent to me from all over the nation. Recently, I had a 3.0 diesel here that had an oil leak. I had taken it apart. I thought I was going to find it. Couldn't find it, even with it apart, because oil was freaking everywhere. So I'm going to show you the steps that I went through to figure out this problem. I'm not even sure if it's going to work yet. I'm literally about to test it right now while you folks watch. Well, what we've got going on here is we've got a bunch of oil leaking all over the place, and I took all this stuff apart hoping to find it. I've also taken the intakes apart, which is a very normal process and what generally people bring these vehicles to me for. So in this particular situation, I've had the engine apart, so I made a plate. I made a cover to allow me to put compressed air into the system. I've got a valve here that allows me to adjust the air pressure that I'm putting in there. And I'm using my Clayway AC tool to test for pressure. So I don't have the right gauge, but I don't really think it matters. I'm going to put 50 pounds of pressure in it at first, just so I don't blow out any seals, because generally the oil pressure that runs through an engine's anywhere from 50 to 80 pounds of pressure. So I don't think we're going to harm it. I sacrificed a cap, but I can sacrifice a lot of caps. So not an issue there. The thing to remember when you do this test right here is be careful and be very gentle at letting the air pressure out, because oil's going to spray out everywhere. I'll probably put a check valve in there so it doesn't do that. It just goes in, but then I'll just loosen the cap a little bit to relieve the air pressure. I've got a block out over there that I made for these. I think it's funny. I wish I would have filmed what happened when I initially put this tool on there without that block off. You can only imagine oil went all over the friggin' place. And we got air hooked up, so enough of my yammering. Hopefully we can hear the leak. Oh, I better tighten up this valve right here. Oh, air doesn't leak past here. Now we just look for leaks. Looks like we got about 10 pounds of pressure going in there now. And there's our leak. Well, I don't even know if I can see that stinking thing. That's pretty big, whatever that is. Oh, it's a screw hole. The customer stated that ever since he changed the water pump, he's been leaking oil. Now we know why. One of his bolts fell out. He probably forgot to tighten it up because it was hid behind everything. Here we go. Now we know. Damn, that thing worked like a freaking champ. Found that loose hole. That's what she said. I wouldn't even have had to take this apart to figure that out. That's freaking cool, dude. Believe it or not, that seems pretty damn simple. I thought I was gonna have to take a lighter and set this sucker on fire, because I looked for that stinking missing bolt or crack in it or gasket that was leaking for quite some time. You should always carry a lighter, because you never know when you're gonna need to set something on fire. Our leak is in the top corner of the water pump, which also explains why the belt was drug across. I don't think he forgot the bolt. I think he forgot to tighten it down, and it came out rather quickly. So we're going to put a bolt in there, recheck the pressure, and make sure we're good to go.
We're going to send in the U.S. troops to protect the democracy.
Because of an oil leak?
Yeah.
This is a big win for America, and a big win for YouTube the Clayway.
This is the best win.
The biggest win.
The best win. We have found the oil leak.
They say we have the best channel on YouTube, but nay, I say, nay, because we don't have many followers and we don't make shit for money. So now we're going to replace that bolt that's missing out of there, and then we're going to repressurize the system if it shows any other leaks. That would also be a good way to test your oil cooler to make sure you're on the right track. If you were working on one of these OM642 3.0 CRD Mercedes diesel engines, even the Blue Tech models. Really, you could use this method to check for an oil leak on any vehicle, and I can make the parts for them. Okay, so now it all comes together and makes sense. We can see where I replaced that bolt, but that has a square shot to go up in here to the fan, and then the fan's always running, so it blows all the oil back over the engine, which put it all over the top and everywhere. This was an open hole to the crankcase. Now that we've put the bolt back in there, we need to take and put shop air back to it again and make sure we don't have a leak somewhere else, because this might not be the only mistake that he made. Pretty sure that air that we're hearing now is just normal air moving around inside the system. I'm gonna have to inspect this. It sounds like it's leaking over here still. Okay, that air there is just the oil cap, so that's good. I got some good messages coming up for you, just hang on for another 30, 45 seconds. If you dug what I did here and you want to help my channel and you're a broke dick just like me and you can't send me super chats or super thanks or whatever the hell that stuff is, at nighttime put on one of my sweet Clayway playlists and you'll see all the stuff that I do down here on my show that makes me unique. You don't want to listen to me yammer? Just do it at nighttime while you're sleeping. Turn the damn volume down, then you don't have to listen to that crap. I'm perfectly aware that most of this stuff could have been said in a much shorter video, but I want followers, not subscribers. I want connections with folks like you. So if you have a comment or you want to say anything, say it down in the comments below. If you dug my video, please consider subscribing, clicking the notifications, sharing my videos. Give me them sweet old thumbs up. If you've got a question for me and you want to reach out to me directly, you can either email me, which I don't often check that much, but I always check my Facebook. You can send me a DM on Clay's AC and Auto Repair through the Facebook Messenger. I'll answer it pretty quickly. It's a totally free service that I offer because God has blessed me with an ability to help folks over text messages with their automotive needs. I can't help you with baby mama drama, but I can probably help you fix your whip, and if I can't, I'll let you know right away. Genuinely don't do it to collect people's information. I'm not interested in that stuff. I do it just to help folks like you. I've been blessed, and I try to bless other people as well with my gifts, if you can call them gifts. Mostly they're tormenting, like ADHD stuff that flies through my head all the time. Remember, don't be the next to them, be the absolute first of you, and if anyone else can do it, you can do it too. God bless, folks. Have the best of days.